Welcome back, nerds, to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about Sons of the Forest. Is it worth it in early access? Let's find out. Welcome back, nerds, to the channel. Before we begin our deep dive into Sons of the Forest, please, if you would, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our nerdy content. And now that that part's out of the way, let's talk about whether you should consider buying Sons of the Forest in early access. If you haven't played the previous title, or this is the first time hearing about the game, allow me to enlighten you. Sons of the Forest is an open-world survivor horror game full of base building and multiplayer. Similar to its predecessor, The Forest, this game features demons, changing seasons, co-op, crafting, horror elements, and of course, chopping trees. Lots and lots of chopping trees. This game begins with you being sent to find a missing billionaire on a remote island where you find yourself in a cannibal-infested hellscape. You can craft, build, and struggle to survive alone or with friends in this terrifying new open-world game. Now, if that doesn't pique your interest, then perhaps returning to Minecraft will. All jokes aside, now let's talk about performance of the game. Sons of the Forest is currently only available on PC, so before buying the game, consider the minimum requirements of 20 gigabytes of storage, 12 gigabytes of RAM, and either an NVIDIA 1060 or an AMD 570. However, the Steam page recommends that your PC has at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and an NVIDIA 1060 Ti. Now, how is the actual performance in-game? Well, I've played up to 5 hours of the game so far, and I definitely have noticed that the cinematic portions of the game tend to destroy my FPS, almost to the point of it being below 10 FPS during all cinematics. For reference, here are my PC specs. Granted, I did play on day one release, and the game is still in early access, so I expected to have at least some bugs. But during actual gameplay, however, I was floating around 56 to 60 FPS, which isn't bad, although I did have to turn the graphical settings down in order to achieve that FPS range. Additionally, I did notice that the game struggles when entering and exiting caves, where the game went into an animation sequence almost as if to load the next section. So during these parts, there was definitely FPS drop, again, downwards of less than 10 FPS at a time. Now, as for the visual aesthetics, the environment is beautiful, and the snow especially is gorgeous, so much so that I have built my entire first base in the snowy mountains. I love how the water and the trees look, and overall I'm really pleased with the graphics of this game. As for gameplay, I've seen many people online call it a lumberjack simulator, and while I did spend the first hour chopping wood, I also built several structures and hunted as needed during that time. So no, I would not agree with it being called a chopping wood simulator. During my first few hours, I was abducted, I met a three-legged lady, abused the living crap out of Kelvin, made a fire, went fishing, built a house, and way more. Overall, I would say gameplay is right where I expect it to be. It's an early access open world game that features a playground for you to build and survive however you choose. As for the controls, well, I will be honest, I played with controller, and while the game does have full controller support, it does feel clunky at times. I did adjust and made some changes in the settings to get in a more desirable state, which helped a lot. However, I'm sure you may have a better experience by playing with keyboard and mouse. The major issues that I experienced during gameplay actually were around crafting. The icons and UI made it confusing how to build certain structures, and I found myself accidentally destroying parts of my buildings that I was actually attempting to build or build on top of, which was very annoying. Reading through community feedback, you can see how many people overall have enjoyed this game, despite some bugs here and there, which is positive given the buildup of hype leading up to its release. Now, I am unable to speak to multiplayer aspects of the game as I have no friends. Kidding, more like I have no friends wanting to drop more money on a game when I've convinced them to buy other games that we have yet to play through. So yeah, that's on me. Again, this game is in early access, and for only $29, it's a pretty good game, and I expect the devs will continue working and tweaking the game until it's in a state for full release. So for overall impressions, I would give this game a solid 7 out of 10, and in my opinion, totally worth it in early access. And if you want to see me play through the game, go check out my Let's Play series for Sons of the Forest in my channel. Now, if you've enjoyed this first impressions video, please give it a like and subscribe for more nerdy content. And until next time, bye!